If you've ever been in Rutherford County and driven on Highway 231 North, chances are you've seen Middle Point Landfill. It may look like just any other type of hill or mountain within the county, but it's actually a landfill. This is where all the waste from Rutherford County goes. It's not really a very good, pretty sight. As you drive by it, you probably smell it before you actually see it. A couple of years ago, I had actually the opportunity to go to Middle Point Landfill and actually watch a container of waste dump their waste into the landfill. And as you're watching this, I want you to notice a few things. One of the things that I want you to notice is what type of waste is being dumped into our landfill. The majority of what you see here is plastic and cardboard, and those are two commodities that can be easily recycled. But yet they've ended up in our landfill and created even a larger issue and problem as far as the environment goes. So when we think about our waste and how we contribute to pollution, landfill is created by pollution and waste that's generated by households. In 2014, Americans produced about 258 million tons of solid waste, and that was according to the EPA. A little over half of that waste, or 136 million tons, actually ended up and was gathered into our landfill, and only about 34% of that was actually recycled. So we definitely have issues and problems as far as pollution and waste and trash in our society. Well, where do you think all that goes? You know, when you think of the data on this website, 700,000 tons of waste are produced by Americans every single day. And again, we've got to ask ourselves, where does all that go? Well, like I said earlier, if you live in Rutherford County, it goes into Middle Point Landfill. Middle Point Landfill in a straight line is about 5 miles from my house. So it really affects me and how my family lives in this county. But one interesting fact about Middle Point Landfill is 27 other counties that surround Rutherford County actually dump their waste in what I consider my backyard. Not a pretty sight, and definitely something that I'm not proud of. You know, most of us, when we do throw things into the garbage, we probably don't think twice about it when we take that garbage to our streets for the garbage truck to come by and pick up. We probably never give it another thought, but in actuality, it's got to go somewhere. According to Middle Point Landfill website, it accepts about 3,400 tons of solid waste every day, and at that rate, the landfill is going to fill up in 8 to 10 years. Middle Point Landfill has actually been in existence for about since 1988, and if you do the math, it's actually taken in about 37.5 million tons of solid waste. So that's a lot of garbage. Once it fills up, then what are we going to do with our waste? So not all waste ends up in the landfill. A lot of it ends up on our roadways. You know, I can say personally, I'd roll my window down driving and throw something out the window myself. I don't do it anymore, but I'd say all of us have probably done it at one point in our lives. But that's not a pretty sight, and we need to do something about this. But also, 80% of improper disposed of waste does end up in our waterways, and a lot of that ends up in our oceans and on our beaches. So we do have a problem. According to a report by Trash in America, nearly 2/3 or 65% of the materials thrown out in the U.S. ultimately are dumped in landfills. That's a lot. When we think about litter in America, it's been a problem for a really, really long time. There was actually a study that was done by Wesley Schultz from the California State University, and they actually went out, him and his group actually went out, and they watched people's habits. You know, they watched people walk out of McDonald's or walk out of Starbucks, and what did they do with the waste when they were finished? Well, there were trash cans that were close by, but a large majority of them just threw it wherever they could. So we definitely have a litter problem in our society today. So it's clear that we have a problem, and we got to try to figure out how we can better dispose of our waste. So what are the solutions, and how can you be part of those solutions? Well, we definitely can recycle, and recycle is just one of the ways that we can help eliminate everything going to our landfills and the pollution and the waste that ends up on our roadsides. But there are other ways. One way is to just reduce. So let's reduce the amount of waste that we generate. That's probably one of the best ways that we can affect positively our environment. So when we think about it, a lot of us drink bottled water. I know my family does, and probably a lot of you do also. But one way the EPA suggests, a simple way that we can reduce some of that plastic, is just use reusable containers. A lot of us probably have these in our kitchen cabinets. So if we just get filtered water out of our tap, or actually, as you can see, these Camelbacks, they have a built-in filter. So by using these, we can eliminate plastic bottles going to our landfill or being dumped on the side of the road. So that's one positive way to affect our environment. When we think about reducing plastic, we reduce the recycle of plastic. When we recycle plastic, it's a pretty big process that it goes through, and it takes a lot of energy, and it actually also, with all that energy that's produced, pollutes the atmosphere and the earth as well. So by reusing simple water containers and eliminating plastic, then we can cut back on the process that it takes to recycle and also positively affect our environment. Well, when we think about reducing plastic and reducing other commodities, they definitely take a long time to decompose. You know, this is just a simple slide, but I want to focus your attention on a couple of them. Plastic bags. It takes a plastic bag 10 to 20 years to decompose in a landfill. So if we reduce using plastic bags, then we eliminate that process of having to decompose. And if we think of plastic bottles, water bottles, they estimate it takes 450 years for a plastic bottle to decompose. Now, do we really know that? Have we had plastic water bottles for 450 years? No. But we definitely know that it takes a long time to decompose plastic. Another way that we can reduce is look at how we buy packaged goods. If we can buy packaged goods that eliminate the amount of packaging that is being used, then that's another way that we can reduce that waste. Many of us probably buy things on the internet, and you can see here's the product that we bought, but look at the box and all the packaging that was used to just deliver this package. So looking for places on the internet that are environmental friendly, that reduce their packaging, and also when we go to stores like Best Buy, look at the packaging, and if we can buy things with less packaging, we definitely reduce the amount of pollution. Another way that we can positively affect the environment is to reuse. We talked a little bit earlier about plastic bags. We all go grocery shopping, and all grocery stores now use those plastic bags. Well, if we buy the reusable bags when we go grocery shopping, we use these instead of the plastic bags, and that's another way to reuse what we get so we can impact the environment positively. We all know about do-it-yourself projects, right? So there's lots of material and things around the house that we can refunction and repurpose. This is just an example of a wooden spool that electrical cable comes on, and here you can see they made it into a nightstand and a bookshelf. So just reusing the things that we have around the house and repurposing them, we can reduce the amount that's going to our landfills as well. We all use batteries. When we use batteries and they die on us, we typically throw them in the garbage can. There's a lot of corrosion and a lot of different things in the battery that will leak into the soil and then leak into the waterways. So if we buy reusable batteries and rechargeable batteries, that will reduce the amount of batteries that we're putting in the landfill as well. Definitely taking care of what we have. You know, taking care of our computers, taking care of our phones, taking care of our cars will extend the life of those items. And if we extend the life of them, we get more use out of them, and we also reduce that much waste going into society. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is recycle. Me and my family started recycling several years ago, and it has really had a big impact on the amount of waste that we generate. If we look just across the street from where I live, this is my neighbor's garbage can. His household is the same size as my household. This used to be me and my family several years ago before we started recycling. We couldn't close the lid on our garbage can. It was stuffed way higher than intended, and we were sending a lot to the landfill. But since we started recycling, this is what our garbage can looks like now. At the most, we have about 2 bags of garbage in our garbage can every week that goes to landfill. So we recycle. We recycle cardboard. As you can see, we just have this little container in our garage, and all the cardboard that we use, we recycle it. And we also recycle plastic. We just have this garbage can in our garage, so any of the plastic that we have, we recycle it this way as well. Very, very easy to do and not very difficult to do. You might think, well, I don't have time to recycle. In this site right here, you can see the Tennessee Beautiful website will list all of the recycle centers in Middle Tennessee. And as you can see by these red markers, they're everywhere. You probably drive by them every single day when you're going and coming from work. So it makes it very practical and very easy to recycle nowadays. So I have a challenge for everybody. Everyone in the room that I'm talking to and all those classmates that I have, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to recycle. I want to challenge you to try to look for ways to reduce the things in your houses that go to landfill. And I did a little calculation, and if we all recycled, I calculated that we could probably save over 2,000 bags of trash going to our landfills. I think that's pretty significant. And then if you guys can positively affect people around you, that number grows even more. So I want to challenge all of you online. When you watch this video, and if you want to recycle, I want you to pledge in the comments section that you're going to pledge to recycle. Or if you already recycle, just let me know. But again, just in recap, we have a problem with trash and waste in our society. And 3 ways that we can get rid of it is we can reduce, reuse, or recycle. Thank you.